Day 613 of doing a LeetCode problem every day until I get a job. All right, y'all, we're back again. Another day, another LeetCode problem where we're doing daily LeetCode problems. And today we have question number 2475, number of unequal triplets in a array. The difficulty level is easy, so you already know we're going to keep the solution as simple and easy to understand as well. But before we get started, y'all, don't forget to like, hype, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you need any new Apple AirPods, go ahead and check out that link in the description so you can get you some. Now let's see what the question says. You are given a zero-indexed array of positive integers nums. Find the number of triplets I, j, and k that meet the following conditions. 0 is less than or equal to I, and I is less than j is less than k, and k is less than nums.length. Nums of I, nums of j, and nums of k are pairwise distinct. In other words, nums of I does not equal nums of j, and nums of I does not equal nums of k, and nums of j does not equal nums of k. Return the number of triplets that meet these conditions. All right, y'all, so that may seem a little bit confusing at first, so let's go ahead and take a look at these examples just to make sure that we are doing this problem correctly. So, in example 1, we have our input nums equals an array of integers 4, 4, 2, 4, and 3. The output is 3. We want to see how many triplets we can create out of this array where no two elements are equal to each other. So let's look at the explanation to see how they did that, right? So it says the following triplets meet the conditions: 0, 2, and 4, because 4 does not equal 2 and 2 does not equal 3. So the first triplet would be 0, 2, and 4. So that means index 0, index 2, and index 4. So index 0 would be 4. Sorry, y'all. Index 0 would be 4. Index 2 would be 2. Boom. And then index 4 would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 would be 3. Boom. So as you can see, this is a triplet and none of the elements are equal to each other. So let's look at the second triplet. Second triplet is 1, 2, and 4. Index is 1, 2, and 4. So that would be this 4. The first time we used this 4. Now we're using this 4. Boom. So that's, we could come right here. We'll say 4, then 2. So once again, 2 is 2. Index 2 is 2. Boom. And then 4 again. Index 4 is 3. Boom. So once again, this is another triplet where none of the elements are the same. Now you might say these are the same triplets, but you have to remember, first triplet we use this for, second triplet we use this for. Boom. So now let's take a look at the last triplet, which is index 2, 3, and 4. So this time we're going to go index 2, 3, and 4. So this time we're going to go 2, that's index 2, then index 3 would be, sorry y'all, index 3 would be 4, and then index 4 would be 3. Boom. And these are the 3 triplets that we can create. It says, note that 2, 0, and 4 is not a valid triplet because 2 is less than or equal to 0. So we can't go backwards. We can't start at index 2, then go to 0, then go to 4, then go to 3, right? Because it says right here, 0 or I must be less than or equal to j, and j must, or excuse me, 0 must be less than or equal to I must be less than j, and j must be less than k, and k must be less than nums.length. So that just means if we can't have I be 2 and we can't have I be 2 and then have j be 0, right? Because then I would not be less than j. If I is 2 and j is 0, then I is not less than j, right? And so when I say I mean index 2, and I cannot be index 2, and j cannot be index 0 because 0 is less than 2. So that's why this triplet wouldn't work. So in total, these are our 3 triplets right here where no elements in the triple are the same. And in total, there were 3 of them. So that's why the output is 3. Now, just in case that didn't make sense, let's take a look at example 2 where they might try to throw a trick question our way. So in example 2, we have our input nums equals an array of integers 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1. The output is 0. Explanation says no triplets meet the condition, so we return 0. So in this case, excuse me, y'all, we cannot create a triplet with different elements because this array only has one element, or excuse me, one integer. We cannot create a triplet with different integers because this array only has one integer, which is 1, right? So we can't just create a triplet with all ones because that wouldn't fit this requirement right here. Boom. So since it won't fit the requirement, the output is 0. Now, I hope that makes sense to y'all. And now that we understand the question, let's get into the fun part, the actual solution. Solution is not that difficult at all. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a variable that will store the total number of valid triplets. So we'll just declare a variable called count, and we'll set that equal to 0 just to start. Now, our first loop, we're going to pick the first index I, and it goes up to nums.count minus 2 so that j and k always exist after I. So we're going to say for I in 0 less than nums.count minus 2, we're going to open up the brackets. And the second loop is going to pick the second index j, and j always comes after I. So we're going to say for j in, open up the parentheses, I plus 1. So y'all, boom, come outside of those parentheses. We're going to say less than nums.count minus 1. We're going to open up the brackets. Then for the third loop, we're going to pick the third index k, and k always comes after j. So we're going to say for k in, open up the parentheses, j plus 1, come outside of that, less than nums.count. Boom, then we're going to open up the brackets, and we're going to check all three pairwise. All three values are pairwise different. So that means we're going to make sure that nums of I does not equal nums of j, and nums of I does not equal nums of k, and also nums of j does not equal nums of k, like it says right here. So for that, we can come right here and we'll just use an if statement, and we'll say if nums square bracket I, come outside of that, does not equal nums square bracket j, come outside of that, and two and signs, nums square bracket I does not equal nums square bracket k, come outside of that, two more and signs, and nums square bracket j does not equal nums square bracket k. Then we'll come outside of that, we'll open up the brackets, and we can say count plus equals 1. And then we need to return the total number of unequal triplets that have been found by coming right here, and we could just say return count. Boom, y'all, that should be all she wrote. So let's give it a run. Make sure it runs properly. Let's see, it's accepted, so let's go ahead and submit it. Make sure it's still accepted after we submit it. Let's see, and look at that, y'all. 3 milliseconds beats 75% of users. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to see, y'all. So, with that being said, I hope y'all learned something today, and I hope to see y'all here tomorrow for another day, another LeetCode problem. See y'all then.